this. You will not.
No, I'm not. Just because we haven't started.
Welcome to the first episode of Free Flow with me, Lauren McKenna.
And me, Nicki Ashley.
No,
we are.
Oh, no.
Free Flow?
Yo, I'm gonna need you to bring your voice down like 8 octaves.
This is gonna be the longest podcast of our life. They said to clap to identify right before we need to cut. You're supposed to start talking. Start talking. You're not talking.
This is Free Flow. On this podcast, we are two sisters. We are quite the same, but also complete opposites. And we are talking everything about being a light body in this human form.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Oh no.
Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah. Free flow. Are you good? You pulled it together? Okay. Free flow is a space where two sisters explore becoming. Stop, you look like you're peeing.
Instead of third person.
Our
First
podcast.
person.
Okay.
Right. Because I think we would need somebody else to be saying that.
Okay. Take 100. This is the problem of sisters doing podcasts together.
But this is
podcast,
how we wanted to do a podcast together.
Yes. It's honestly just a space where we're trying to explore embodiment, the art of letting life move through us, and our obstacles that we've faced along the way. Because I know that we're not alone.
And I feel like we've learned a lot through anxiety, through chronic issues with our body, through
Chronic
medicine,
pain, chronic illness.
Right. Inner work.
We have a lot to share.
We have a lot to share.
And a lot still to learn.
Right. We're working through this just like everybody else. And although we have lots of tools in our tools bags, we're still just human. What?
A lot of tools in our tools bags.
I sounded wrong to me. We have both learned quite a bit on this journey thus far, from anxiety to chronic health issues, chronic pain, alongside plant medicine and inner work and spirituality. We have gotten a lot of tools in our toolboxes, and we want to share them. We have so many conversations, trust us. We call each other like 3 times a day, and these conversations are in such depth that we really felt like, why not just share this? I think for ourselves too, to be able to look back on this is actually pretty cool. I never actually thought about that, but I feel like it's a vibe.
Almost like a journal to see our progress.
Right.
So, with that said, we're gonna, this episode, start with the beginning. Why are you laughing at me?
I think in this episode, we're gonna start just sharing a little bit of our background, our journeys into why we got into spirituality and wellness in a different sense than the Western world might view it as, and how we ended up just at this podcast and kind of mentally where we are today, so that you guys can understand a little more of who we are and maybe if this journey resonates with you. Okay, so my journey started when I was a kid. I had many anger issues. Nicki can attest to that. Could not hold myself together. I was, even as a kid, I would have like depressive episodes. And then in high school, I think my theory is that it's from taking drugs. I had like a spiritual awakening, like too much energy too quickly. And
what drugs?
Molly.
Oh.
And in high school, around the age of 17, I started having really bad anxiety. It was actually before that too, a little bit. And it got to the point where I was waking up almost every night, having a panic attack, my sweet angel mother would come in my room and I would just be a mess. And this was like an every night occurrence. And for some reason, with my anxiety alongside the mental hell that it was, um, it manifested physically as I wouldn't be able to speak. So even I remember being in the car with Nikki one time, we were picking you up from school. You were coming home for the weekend or something. And I remember she like got out of the car to get something. And it was just me and you. And I wanted so bad just to talk to you, just to connect with you. And I, I couldn't form words to say to you. My thought couldn't stay on one subject when I was speaking for that long without my whole body, what I now understand to be, was going into freeze. It was having a dorsal vagal response. So that went on for a while. I went on prescription drugs. I saw a therapist, and that's whatever. We'll probably get into all of that in a later episode. But I actually found yoga on YouTube, Travis Elliott, Lauren Ekstrom, 10 out of 10. Look them up, Interdimension TV. And it was the first time where like somebody was saying something hopeful about life, and I felt light. And again, I look back now and I realize that there was just so much truth that I felt in what they were saying, because I was also convinced that we were living in hell, which is crazy because that's while I was believing this, that we were like living in hell. The show The Good Place came out on TV, which they thought they were in heaven, and then they realized that they were in hell. And again, that's not a coincidence, like that's synchronicity. It was just weird. But yoga led to a lot of spiritual books that I started reading, um, lots of inner work. This was when I was about 20. I'm 26 now. And for the longest time, so much of what I learned was mental. And I very much got stuck in that trap of law of attraction, only think good thoughts, only say positive things. And I always explained it as spiritual warfare in my mind. Um, and through actually somatics and breath work, I'm a 90 breath work facilitator. I found so much, also through plant medicine, like so much releasing, so much truth, so much grounding, so much purifying. And by purifying, I mean like coming back to my soul's essence through, like I said, um, through the body, through plant medicine. So that's where I am today, is very much feeling all of my feelings, actually embodying the work that I've been speaking about for years, and understanding that you can still be angry, you can still be confused, you can still be sad, and still have faith and still be on a high vibration. So I feel like I wish that I had this podcast when I was going through all of that, because
Mm-hmm.
exactly like I said, and I hear so many people say, is that like when we think spirituality, it's so easy to get stuck in that new age shit of like positive toxicity. Um, and that's just a really sticky web to get stuck in. And for people with anxiety, it it just escalates the anxiety, and it becomes like this game in your mind of attacking yourself, which is quite literally the opposite. I also have a history of personal training, corrective exercise, being a stretch therapist, and also, like I said, being a breathwork facilitator. I also have worked with trigger point therapy, so I've had a lot of hands on with the body. And in my past, alongside the anxiety, alongside all the shame, alongside all of the perfectionism and forcing and grinding and hustling, I was extremely obsessed with working out. It was so unhealthy how obsessed I was with it. and I ended up getting chronic pain when I was about 13 in my back that was really bad. And at 20, it started in my shoulder when I actually became an exotic dancer. I think that's kind of what triggered that. So I was an exotic dancer for 6 years. This year, I have just stopped doing that. And again, through somatics, through plant medicine, I have finally begun to heal my chronic pain and slowly begin to move and actually move in a way that feels so good and rejuvenating instead of draining. So I'm really excited to share some more about that and continue on my own journey with that as well. So,
Yeah, girl.
Nick, tell us
You've
about
been
you,
through
girl.
it. I It's so funny how Lauren and I have very similar yet contrasting paths. Like we often say we're the opposite sides of the same coin. I love morning, she loves night. I love like science and the body and nutrition, and she loves the body and spirituality and somatics. And so it's been interesting to like bounce ideas off of one another. I feel like I'm on the ground and she's up in the air, which is like this really beautiful, often sometimes friction causing relationship, but in the best way. And so my journey started when I was younger, really bad anxiety, OCD. And it's crazy because we had such beautiful parents. Like, it doesn't matter. And not to say like that the household doesn't impact it, right? No parent's perfect, but at the same
Everybody's
time,
learning though. Like our parents
yeah,
are
they're humans.
learning. Exactly, 100%.
So, but we had a great family, and I had anxiety, OCD. That in college, I
Can
guess,
you speak? Sorry, not to cut you off. Can you
yeah,
just like real briefly, because I feel like some people are going to wonder if this resonates with them or not, just like 60 seconds touch on what you mean when you say OCD? Because I
yeah,
think people think of like all my plates have to be the same colors. Oh my God, I have OCD.
right. So I actually don't have that at all, which is so funny
Right.
because my parents, they think it's hilarious that like I'm the least organized
When
person,
this
yet I
woman
have OCD.
cooks in the kitchen, she's like,
Chaos.
yeah, it's complete mess.
So I have intrusive thought OCD, which means it's essentially a worn out um, a worn out track in my brain that loops and loops and loops. And it looks for reasons of doubt, guilt, shame, and it does not like uncertainty. So it grasps onto control. And I don't know if I ever told you this, but um, one of my biggest OCD flare ups was after my aunt died, and I saw how heartbroken my mom was. And so my OCD, wanting to control, perfect, like fear of somebody else
Mm.
being lost, being hurt, I like tried to control everything to the point where I was driving myself absolutely crazy. From hand washing to like germaphobe to just being afraid of like harming somebody. The intrusive thoughts were so sad because it was telling myself that I was like a bad person, and um, it didn't it didn't stop until I went to college, and I'm a very strong, independent individual, and so I cannot imagine intrusive thought OCD for people who aren't, and I'm so grateful that I am like that. And I remember going to college thinking like I do not want to live like this anymore. I do not want to be weird. I want like to be normal and have friends and be able to not be stuck in my mind. So I just committed to that switch, and it wasn't easy, but through therapies and different tools I learned, I was able to calm down my OCD in tandem with learning who I was. So I had a really cool Ecuadorian trip that sparked an adventure spirit in me. And then I also had a really powerful sustainability course in high school that ignited this passion for the nature and earth and food and all of that. So after college,
You also took shrooms.
yeah, but not yet. Not
So
yet.
sorry. So sorry. I'm getting excited. Please continue.
So after college, I tried the old corporate world. Gave it a shot. I was an engineer for maybe 2 months, but I had had an internship before. So total, probably 7 months. and I hated it. I felt dead inside. Like, I didn't care about what I did. I was contributing to just our infrastructure of, as it is, of like producing and making and just like corporate power. And so I started DMing people on LinkedIn at random. And I got a bite from Greg Christian, who is now my current boss at Beyond Green Partners. And to this day, I still work there.
I feel like we shouldn't say where we work.
Yeah,
that seems risky.
Okay, fine. So I reached out to this company. I'm not going to say who. And
I'm sorry.
So I reached out to this company on LinkedIn. I actually reached out to the CEO. I'm not going to name who, just for privacy reasons, but he bit the bait. I still work there to this day, and essentially it's a passion project of mine. It has my whole heart, and it intertwines food, kids, and sustainability and local farmers all into one. And so that even further perpetuated like this food is fuel. Like I said, I'm obsessed with nutrition. I have this anxiety disorder, and in my mind, I thought food and I truly thought food was going to fix it. Like in my mind, healthy eating equated to a healthy mind and body. And I dove down that road deep, deep, deep for 6-7 years. I had a mold experience in my junior year of college that was layered upon of the chronic stress of OCD and the chronic stress of school. And that, what I'm learning now, essentially broke my nervous system, and I was stuck in fight or flight. And I'm just now seeing that. But at the time, I was obsessed with finding a fix. I was just obsessed with it. So I looked at different protocols. I started doing research. I got my certificate in nutrition. I tried everything under the sun, every supplement. I saw 5 functional medicine doctors, and I only got worse. Lauren can attest. I literally looked like a walking zombie. I was so sick from protocols. I was only getting more and more reactive. And as somebody who is very science-based, very black and white thinking, I did not see myself as stressed. Like, I didn't think stress or nervous system dysregulation could be the cause of all of this, or at least playing a very large role. And it wasn't until I started seeing a new functional medicine doctor, and she recommended a program called Primal Trust. I dove into nervous system regulation, and then I have Lauren also whispering in my ear for years and years and years that there's a spiritual level to the chaos inside my body. And that has really taken me on this beautiful journey of regulating my nervous system, and then even on a soul level, just tuning into my intuition and quieting my mind. And there's so much more to learn on this journey. I think I've only scratched the surface, but for the first time ever, I'm starting to see actual results that I have not been able to experience in the 7 years of random supplements and protocols I've tried. So that's my journey.
And I totally
and it's still
relate.
going.
Again, oh, 100%. And again, same coin, different side. With my chronic pain, I got all the certifications in corrective exercise, pain-free movement, performance enhancement, because I was like, oh, my form's off, my form's off. Well, no, my nervous system is stuck in freeze and stuck in fight or flight, and it's like pressing on the brake, pressing on the gas. My muscles aren't getting oxygen, my whole body's in a stressed state. That's why I'm having chronic pain. So it's like, again, the movement, the functionality plays a part, the food plays a part, but what we've both come to realize, and how it's crazy, like I was over here, you were over here, and we met in the middle, the foundation is, do you feel safe?
I still remember a year ago, we both lived in LA at the time. And we really wanted to start a business together. Like I said, we're both very health oriented, which I give credit to my dad for that. And we met up, and she was like, we need to talk about like our nervous systems and calming down our bodies. And I was like, no, that's bullshit. Like, I don't believe it. And now here we are, literally like embodying and really chasing this nervous system piece that I've never seen more valuable.
Hmm.
And it's just crazy how like the journey happens. But for somebody who is maybe where we were 6 years ago, 3 years ago, what's like one piece of advice you can get them if they're just starting down this journey of exploring? I don't even know
Yeah,
how
no,
to embody it.
right, because it's not just like a spiritual journey. It's not just a healing journey. It's I don't even, maybe one day we'll have the word for it. But one piece of advice that I would give people is listen to yourself. Listen to your own body. It is always guiding you. It is always giving you a yes or a no, and that language takes time to learn. I'm still learning the language of my body, but although people are helpful, resources are helpful, your deepest truth is inside of you. So whether something is quote unquote good for you or bad for you, aligned with you, not aligned, that's going to come from within. What works for somebody might not work for you. What works for you isn't going to work for somebody else. So no matter what anybody says, no matter how this world is being run right now, listen to yourself. Have moments of silence and just tune in to yourself because you have the answers within you.
And that kind of goes hand in hand with this really powerful theory. Not even a theory, I would say it's a law that our body can innately heal itself. It has the powers within to heal itself. And that's not just a woo woo energetic statement. There's actual research to prove that we have chemical reactions within our body to identify the trigger of an illness and heal itself. So almost our job is to get out of our own way and allow the healing to occur. And there's no way that we can heal when we are in a flight, fight, or freeze state of mind. Like we have to be in a rest and digest, a parasympathetic state in order for our bodies to heal. And I would argue that almost 99% of the American culture has not experienced parasympathetic state in years. Like my friends, GI problems, mental health problems, like arthritis. I'm like, you're in your 20s. What the
Yeah,
fuck is going on?
it's terrifying stretching people, like working on people's bodies. And I'll go to stretch them and I'm like, can you release your leg? They're like, it is released. I'm like, no, release your leg. And they're like, it is. And they're gripping so tight, like their whole bodies are just like this, which I get. I've been there. I'm much better, but still working through it. Like that shit runs deep. But also in terms of nervous system regulation, it's like, yeah, 2D, it's anatomy, it's chemical, all the things, but zoom out the lens and it's what's out of balance in your spirit, in your soul. What's out of balance there? Because if you're living in fear, you're not living in faith. And you're going to be in that fight or flight freeze. So, just, I guess that's kind of like the whole point of this podcast is bringing things back to earth. We're humans, we're doing this human thing, but then pulling it back out and realizing that we are souls and we're just having this human experience, which I very much believe is one of like millions of lives that we have, whether on planet Earth or not. But
I think for me, the biggest thing, there's been so much that we've learned along the way that we'll definitely dive into. Um, but the two things that stand out to me from the beginning of my journey that I wish I would have known is kind of what you touched on, tuning into your body. So a lot of us are disconnected from our body. There's actually, I listened to a podcast, I cannot remember the name of it, but if I remember, I'll link it. That this tribe actually uses their stomach, their body, to guide decision making. And they were shocked that Americans use their mind. So I had to literally like learn because I work remote, I work long hours. And so I had to learn to tune into my body and identify when I was clenching and when I was shallow breathing and when I was angry, when I was whatnot, like when I was not regulated, when I was not calm. And I realized it's almost the entire workday. Like I'm clenching my stomach. I'm clenching my stomach's probably the biggest one. I'm shallow breathing. My jaw is tight. My shoulders are upright. And so, first and foremost, if you're starting on this, like I just recommend start being curious about your body sensations. What feels really good? Like what afterwards do you feel like, wow, that was so energizing? And what afterwards do you feel like, oh my gosh, that was really draining? Just start to take inventory, start to learn because everybody's different. And then the second thing that's been really powerful to me and arguably the hardest is surrendering. Letting go of control for somebody with OCD and anxiety is damn near impossible. And it's just a misconception. It's literally fake that we think that we have control over life. We don't. Anything can happen. And so we might as well just enjoy the ride and let go. Let go of the rope, otherwise you'll get rope burn. That's a Travis Elliott quote. But it's so true. And it's easy, yet so hard. And so those are probably the two biggest things that I have really been trying to anchor in these past couple of months.
Yeah, truly, all of this is. Well, let me wrap it back to that to close this off. I do want to say when we speak of anxiety and OCD and stuff, I really don't want, I know me and you don't, but just in general, like not to get stuck on these terms. Um, Again, ultimately, it's fear, right? It's fear, and it manifests in different ways in different people. So, although it's like I was told that I have this and you were told that you have that, it's like our minds are just fucking overthinking, trying to have control. That's literally what it is. So,
Because of fear.
100%. So, I don't know, I feel the need to say that because I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to act like we're some psychotherapists or that we feel like there's certain things that you need to do if you have this type of anxiety versus this type of anxiety, which like who whatever. Does that
It's
make
all a
sense? Am I
name.
making
Yeah.
sense? Okay, cool.
Yes.
And
It's all
then in
in
term
a name.
100%, like just fucking English language. And then in terms of curiosity, yeah, like that's exactly what we're doing is like we're just on this earth to explore and to experience and to create and to be curious. So, to wrap it up, if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask, we don't really have any of the episodes planned yet. So I think
Any
that would be
topics you want
cool.
covered. Any
Right.
topics at all.
Absolutely. Like we would love to hear what people want to hear and dive into all of that. Otherwise, we'll just keep chit-chatting the way we do. But we very much appreciate you guys sticking around and we hope that this resonates with you guys and maybe finds we our biggest goal is just that this is your safe space to be you, not fixing, not
Not feel
perfecting,
alone.
100% just to be you. So thank you guys for listening and welcome to the family.
And tune in next week for another hot mess conversation.
Facts, facts on facts on facts.
All right.